Right then, let's move on to, well, a collaboration with James Cameron, as I've just mentioned, in fact, Scott.
Yes, which is Strange Days. Strange Days breaks Predator 2's record of the shortest expected time for societal collapse and simultaneous technological advancement, with this 1995 film set in 1999, leveraging some turn-of-the-millennium tension to show a Los Angeles sitting on a powder keg of racial and class tension. Wandering around with a match is Ralph Fiennes' ex-cop Lenny Nero, who now sells squid discs on the black market to rich clientele. What's that, you grudgingly ask? Well, a squid disc is a direct recording of someone's experience that you can then download into your own mind and experience that experience as if you were experiencing that experience.
And there's also a mini disc.
Yes.
Very clearly.
Yes. Sleazing his way around town, somewhat grudgingly aided by his friends, Angela Bassett's Lornette Mason, a bodyguard and limousine driver, and Tom Sizemore's Max Peltier, a fellow ex-cop and now private detective. Before long, Lenny is pulled into a whirlwind of events that I'm not sure are worth recapping in any detail, otherwise we'll be talking about it for as long as it would take to just watch the film. But it starts with a now dead hooker and friend desperately trying to get a message and a squid disc to Lenny, which could see danger brought to Lenny's ex-girlfriend Juliette Lewis's Faith, who he still pines for. She's chosen her singing career over the relationship and is now shacked up with shady manager / record label type Michael Wincott's Philo Gant, who's also dealing with the fallout from the death of a popular rapper, Glenn Plummer's Jericho 1, who was the spearhead of a social movement. So, there's a lot of moving parts before we add in a couple of coppers trying to get hold of the squid disc with no regard for due process, and all of that's before we know exactly what this MacGuffin is going to tell us. So, it's a very complicated case, you know. A lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous, and a lot of strands to keep in your head, man. But not arguably many more than the noirs that this steals its central structure from, before giving it a gloss of cyberpunk and Blade Runner that I suppose rather dates the film, but thankfully for me, at least, it's a point in time that I can rather get behind. I'll tell you how remarkable a film this is. Tom Sizemore's in it and he doesn't ruin it. I actually think he's quite good in it, bringing the total number of tolerable Tom Sizemore turns to 1. Fiennes is dependably engaging, of course, and his relationship with Angela Bassett plays out nicely over the course of the piece. I perhaps wonder if this story will hold up at all to repeat viewing. However, I've only seen this once, and I liked it a great deal. Well worth pulling off the shelf, particularly if, like me, this has been on your must-catch-up-with-this list for about the past 20 years or so. Oh god, I'm so old. Yes, lots of nice things in there. I like a lot of the plot twists, a lot of the dialogue. I like a lot of the action scenes. You see, some of it was kind of coming through from Point Break, I think, but a lot of the kind of first-person chase scenes are done quite well, which must have been a bit of a nightmare to film, technically, given the state of camera technology at the time. It's perhaps not so impressive from a modern perspective when you could do the same thing off a smartphone, but hauling a film cameras or however it was done through it would have been quite a bit more of a challenge back in 95 or 94 whenever we were shooting this. Yeah, a lot to like. I just like the story and I like all the characters and I think it all ties together quite nicely. It is clearly very far-fetched. I wouldn't go in here expecting a lot of verisimilitude, but and yes, it is puzzling why they set it in 99.
Yes, exactly.
Very, very strange choice. Yes, I don't quite know what they were doing with that at all, but that's the only sort of slight quibble with it. I don't know quite what they were going for that, but yeah, everything else I rather enjoyed. So yes,
yes. Before I get on to my point, so it's like something to point out that in case anyone's any doubt about how much members of us in film like The Big Lebowski, they've now managed to independently both reference The Big Lebowski in 2 different reviews in the same podcast. Well done us, excellent. Without trying. Yeah, that was one of my biggest problems with it, was why was it 1999?
Yeah,
because
it's weird.
The technology doesn't make any sense at all. It's so unbelievable. And it's like, but yes, why 1999? Was it just an opportunity to irritate me and show that you get another example of the fact that during the 20th century, most of the Western world forgot how to count?
Yes.
Given the new millennium started in 2001.
Yeah.
Still annoyed about that. I know how to count, but didn't start at the year 0 this calendar. Anyway. I will just get myself into a rage over nothing important anymore. But yes, it's a strange thing. Why do that? It added nothing. You can still imagine that people would still be a bit sort of slightly exuberant, shall we say, on New Year's Eve in any given year.
Yeah.
And given the history of racial tensions and stuff in that city in particular, and this film made only just a few years after the LA riots.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard to believe that that was going to continue. So, like, that central idea that when they discover the truth of the tape, like, that it could cause people to die because of, like, rioting and revenge killings and stuff, all of which is actually an interesting topic.
Yeah.
And true, even though it's still, it's like, well, you still shouldn't hide the truth, but, you can see why you would say to do that. That it's quite believable that would still happen, like, 20 years in the future when your technology wouldn't be so bizarre.
Yeah. And it's puzzling as well, because obviously I think that's why they wanted to make the film, from what I can remember when I was doing a bit of research on it. But why you felt the need to do a film about those riots and then give it a vague science fiction coat of paint over the top of it to tell the story. If that's what you want to tell the story, just tell that story, which kind of, I guess Kathryn Bigelow does later on in her career with Detroit, but why set it 5 years or so ahead of when you're making it? Well, as you say, why not set it 20, 30, 40 years? We would take it as read that you're talking about the same situation. We understand how analogies work. It's not... it's just a strange choice. Yeah,
it's... apart from that, though, like, this is... It's not a film that I'd had on a list to watch, but it's one that I'd kind of always been aware of. I got quite a lot of buzz at the time, and I hadn't seen it before this podcast, and I really, really enjoyed it. The sort of central mystery of what was on the disc kept me going for quite a good part of it.
Yeah.
And I actually really liked in the end that it wasn't actually connected to anything.
Yeah.
Though, given how much of that powered my interest, I am not sure how well this will stand up to a rewatch. Would be my concern.
Yes, I do share that a little bit, yeah.
But other than that, I really enjoyed it, even though I was certain from the moment that Tom Sizemore appeared in the film that the film was going to end with the revelation that it ended with. Are you going to subvert my expectations? You're not, are you? No, it's Tom Sizemore's in this film. Oh, yeah. Yeah, saw that coming because of the character. Why did you cast him? Clearly he was going to be doing this thing. So I am trying to think that if there's another tolerable Tom Sizemore performance, maybe Saving Private Ryan. It's not a very big role, but there's not many of them.
Dreamcatcher.
No. Oh dear.
No.
Oh dear, no.
I think that counts as minus several hundred. So
he even manages to be kind of annoying in the 30 seconds he's in Point Break. So It's generally not a good, a welcome sign. But yeah, so I've sidetracked myself again there. I need to stop doing that. Yeah, it's a really entertaining film. If I have any reservations with it, it's maybe that the end with Vincent D'Onofrio with impunity murdering people in the crowd and just running through and nobody reacting.
Yeah.
It bothered me a wee bit, and then later on, just when everybody's just beating on Angela Bassett. So like the last 5 minutes maybe wasn't so sure about. The rest of it I thoroughly enjoyed. Really entertaining film. Good.
I do sometimes miss that little brief smattering of cyberpunk dramas that we got for a while, and you don't get so many of them these days. But I do miss them somewhat.